G'day everybody, I'm back again, and I want to talk about why, one of the main reasons, you can put in the top 10 list, of why I'm attacking the government system, right? Because I think it's unfair that police officers, ambulance drivers, firefighters, and a lot of other people that risk their life for the government, for the people, because they're in a government job. Right, so even if they're a council worker, whoever works for the government, not all risk their lives, but do a duty, and they do at least 8 hours of that duty. Right, and that's how we set up most workplaces. Right. What is unfair is that people who do the wrong thing, you got scammers, and they always get caught in the end, and fraudsters and stuff like that rip the system, and tax fraud and all that kind of stuff. But then, and thieves, right, and they get rich and shit, but they get caught as a thief and stuff like that. Most of them, anyway. So thieves sometimes get away with. You probably won't be able to stop thieves, right? And you won't be able to stop drug deals in the end, right? There'll be some drug dealers making more, but at least you can go after them. These people can always feel like they're doing wrong. We can go after them. They're going to be judged on this life or the next, right? But the worst thing about it is judging people, like having a law system that judges people it's not a bad thing. It's just because the law says it is. So I believe that bad drugs that hurt and harm people and stealing and all that thing is a bad thing. But I don't think that's something that coppers treat as the same bad thing as that when it comes to marijuana, okay? And they're legalising a worse drug already, which is alcohol. So that drug, I think, is a hypocritical thing. And I understand people who would, police officers that would be busting people who sell marijuana because their life is better than theirs and they're not working as hard. That would upset a police officer. That would upset me because I fight that law and I think it's wrong. But the thing is, it's not wrong when it comes to marijuana in my case and in a lot of other cases around the world too, and countries that have seen the point of what I'm talking about and don't have some sort of money system to stop it, or some sort of government leader just doesn't understand this theory about alcohol being much, 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 much worse and less benefits than marijuana. So it makes no sense to treat marijuana as a bad drug. It should be at least treated as a pharmaceutical drug, right? And be used. It makes no sense why you're not doing that. Countries do that, right? And so I'm talking the point, and I see it doesn't happen because of money and greed and behind the scenes, and they talk about things like this. So if we sort that problem out, then the cops won't have the envy of that problem, right? Of punishing people that shouldn't get punished. Because as far as I'm concerned, all the people who got locked up for marijuana should be not locked up, right? They can be locked up for maybe, would have to have a discussion. It's a big discussion about that, how you'd have to treat that part, because they were doing something that they know they shouldn't be doing. But like I said, it's a big discussion. Most of them probably who's in jail should be released because they would have served their time, as long as they did nothing else but had the marijuana done on them, like and grew it and all that. As long as they haven't shot anyone up, protected it or anything like that. I'm not saying they should be released, but the other people should be, because the government to me is hypocritical of putting them in, right? And they have to, and they should be put in like a light thief, or they're doing something. They could have done a different job, right? But I don't want to talk about that, and you can figure that out. But you can also figure out that it's wrong that they've got put in there and treated as such a criminal. And people who've lost their license because of marijuana too should get their license given back to them, because if the law comes out, of course, and this can only happen if the law gets changed and they see their ways. And I see that the law won't get changed because the people who go to change it don't want to get the guilt of talking about it, but they shouldn't, because they're doing it for the people have agreed. If they go to talk about that situation, everyone agree, then we'll do such a thing. Because I find that if it's just got to do with people having marijuana, then they're not bad to society at all. As long as they're not going to start thinking about doing something bad again, like if they were a drug dealer to make money, and hopefully they've learnt their lesson already by that. And other people that have, they can change their ways, because the law, if it goes to medical, will still be you can't grow so many, or you can, and you can, go bust them if you have spare time, if your city's going good with the higher drugs, that coppers and crimes that you need to sort before you go to lower crimes, because the money can only get stretched so far. That's how I see things, and that's how I wish things will be, and that's what I would try to protest to get, and we'll debate for it. But anyway, people, I thought I'd chuck that out there about marijuana, as I do have marijuana for medical reasons, right? I prefer to have that than any other drug if I think I need a drug, and so I'm backing that drug up as much as I can, because I find it's ruining people's lives. The way the government treats things and that drug just makes the problem worse, I find, and I've got proof, and I'll debate how much the government makes it worse by doing those type of things and legalising it and doing the treatment and trying to bully people to get what they want because they just want it and can't have real facts of why they've got it. I can understand if they got rid of alcohol, then they went to do that afterwards. It'll be harder for me to argue, but I can argue it really easy because they've got marijuana legalised, and they've also legalised smoke, so they can't have a whinge about the health, and we all get that, but that's our health, and marijuana doesn't have to be smoked, right? It can be done in cookies and all that, so we can argue that out. Right, so we can. I still agree to get rid of cigarettes, but I also don't agree to get rid of cigarettes is not to up the price and try to control people, unless you're going to need a little bit of money that you need money to help educate them to not smoke and make the right decision over time with their children and them educating their children. Smoking will disappear. You don't need to make them a ridiculous price. So cigarettes should go back to how much they really cost, just a $5-6 a packet, and they can still make some money, double the price, whatever, not 10, 20 times the price kind of crap and keep going up. And same with the alcohol, if they're still going to legalise that. You don't control people. That's what makes the problem worse. People are still drinking, people are getting poor, and you're fucking the people. Have a good one.